Hey, what's going on, champs? I'm Aaron Deliosa. Welcome to an Immigrant's Life podcast, my podcast about immigrants and immigration and everything in between. Thank you for listening and downloading the show, and thank you for supporting my dad.
Welcome back, Immigrant Nation. Another week, another new episode, and actually another new month. Wow, this month is going to be anniversary month of an immigrant's life. Wow, I can't believe it. Like, it's been 3 years since I started this passion project that I have. And it's been 3 years. You guys been sticking with me, listening with me, sharing my content. And every day I'm grateful for you guys. So I hope we can continue this project. I hope we can share more amazing, incredible, and inspiring stories of individuals that have relationship with immigration and for the good and the bad of it. And let's continue, right? So, anyways, as your host and guide on this journey, I couldn't be more thrilled to bring you this first episode of this long month celebration of our third anniversary. It's a momentous occasion, and we got a fantastic show lined up for you. And for this episode, we have a guest that exemplifies the beauty of collaboration in creativity. He shows us that being a sole creator isn't the only path. Often, the joy lies in working together, elevating each other's ideas, and forging connections that fuel innovation and inspiration. So grab your favorite beverage, get comfortable, because without further ado, let's get into the show. Isa, dalawa, tatlo. Today's guest is a chemical engineer and a creative. While his films and photography are breathtaking, his rear naked choke is the one that will literally take your breath away. Everyone, please welcome Ray Lumokso.
What an introduction. Thanks for having me, man.
Oh, of course, man. I appreciate that, man. I love my introduction, so I'm glad that you appreciate it.
He did his research. I didn't tell him any of that stuff.
I try. Before we move on, thank you for coming on the podcast, man. I really do appreciate it.
For sure. Thanks for giving me the opportunity. Thanks for reaching out.
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. Shout out to Jet.
Yep. Jet Lab.
Jet
Jet Lab.
That's my boy. I love
Me
him.
too, man. It's my guy.
Why don't you tell the Immigrant Nation where they can reach you, or if you want to promote anything?
So you guys can reach me on my Instagram at Ray_Lumokso, RAY_LU, M as in Mary, OKSO. And then my website link is on there too, raylumokso.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. New York City, we're talking about born and bred.
Yeah. So I'm originally from Queens. I was born in Queens.
Okay.
Still live in Queens. It's the world's borough. You know, that's where the airports are. Yeah.
Wait, which airport is that?
So both JFK and LaGuardia are here. JFK is the international airport, and then the domestic flights come out of LaGuardia, but they are in the same borough.
Are you close to the airport that you can hear the planes or no?
I can hear the planes. I'd say where I live in Bayside, which is like northeast Queens. So I'm close enough. I see planes all the time. They're not absurdly loud or super low where I am, but you can see them. I think anywhere in New York, you can pretty much see planes all the time if you look in the sky.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess it's a busy city. By the way, offline, we're talking about your last name that is so unique that I know the word, but I've never met someone that has that last name. Do you know where the last name's from in the Philippines?
I don't know where it originates from, but my parents are Bisaya. They're from like the Bacolod area, but they're from Sagay, which is the closest major cities, probably Bacolod.
Bacolod, yeah. Are you a singer?
Am I a singer? No.
Come on, you didn't have the gene?
No, but I grew up playing a lot of music. I play guitar, piano. I can play the drums, pretty much anything in between. And I think that's where it came out of me personally. I don't sing.
Nothing,
That's
eh?
no.
Okay, now, would you have preferred for you to be able to sing and not play any musical instrument, or reverse?
I think I'm happy with the decision that was given to me to not, because I think it's easier to be a lot more creative if you're not the one that's singing, you know.
Hmm.
When you're singing, it's kind of like everything else is you have to kind of fit your form into that.
Okay,
You
okay.
know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's one of I know how to play guitar. I'm sure not as good as you, but I know I used to at least play a lot.
Yeah, yeah,
Because high school girls,
yeah,
you know.
yeah, exactly. And then you get to college, everybody plays guitar. You go into a dorm room or something, you thought you were special because you know how to play guitar, and then everybody knows how to play guitar, and you're like, oh
Yeah,
shit.
exactly. Speaking of college, I did some digging on you. You used to have a band.
Yeah, I was in like three or four different bands,
Hmm.
but in college I was in two bands at the time, and one of them was called Potpourri, and the other one was called Mending Wall. The one that was called Potpourri, that was with like my friends that I went to college with, that I was in school with, and it was like kind of just like a way for us to like make more friends and try and not take college too seriously. And then the other band I was in was with my friends that I grew up with in Queens, and that was a little more serious than Potpourri. Like we recorded a demo, did a whole record, so it was a little more serious than that. But
Did you go to any shows, or did you even go tour?
yeah, we played a couple shows. It never got to a point where we toured.
Hmm.
It was just, there's too many moving parts. I think when you become like a touring group or something that's more serious than one show a month, it gets too hectic, too crazy. Everyone's got a crazy schedule, especially at that time in our lives. We're like 21, 22 years old. Half of the school is in college, and then half the band is in college, and then half the other band is already working full-time jobs. They're all like union tradesmen. They worked as like electricians or just
Oh
in
man.
construction already. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
hard to be all on the same page when we have that was our one common ground, was like playing music.
Hmm. What kind of
I
music
mean,
did
it's
you play?
rock music, both bands.
Both band
And I
rock.
played, yeah, in one band I played drums, and the other band I played guitar.
Yeah. What kind of rock?
Um, I guess I would. It's like our main influences were like Thrice. I don't know if you ever listen to Thrice. It's like it that I would say maybe progressive was like the closest thing,
Okay,
but it
okay.
wasn't as complicated as prog. So it it's still up there though. It was definitely difficult to play, difficult to like get on the same page with everybody, and there was like a certain specific level of skill that I feel like we all tried to uphold. But yeah, I mean, those are the old days. We're talking like almost 10 years ago now. I think anything within that hasn't happened within the past year, it's like I've already reinvented myself 6 months ago.
Oh,
So
definitely. Especially
yeah,
with the COVID time. Like the COVID time is like a
yeah.
blur.
Oh yeah, I know. It deleted, I think, 2 years off of everybody's life. Like it sucks. It sucks. I wish I could get that time back.
Yeah, I mean, yes, I see your point, but for me, this is why when I started the podcast was during COVID.
Oh yeah,
So I was
yeah,
like, okay, you know what, dude? I've always wanted though to start a podcast, even way before
yeah,
the, even the when podcast wasn't podcast yet. But yeah, I mean, it gave me an opportunity to just sit back, reflect, and all this stuff. But yeah, of course, the part of like not spending time with family or going anywhere, that sucks.
yeah. It
Do-
definitely gave a better perspective. But yeah.
Yeah. Did you play a lot of musical instruments during those times?
I guess I played a little more guitar than I usually do, but
Mm.
um, yeah, like you're not able to jam with people. You're not able to collaborate with people that outside of like being on a FaceTime or anything. It's just not the same.
Yeah.
When you're jamming in a room with like four or five different other people, and there's a specific vibe in there, it's like, dude, this is fun. But you know, I think when you're playing with people that are over the internet, it's just like it gives you a taste of what it could have been, but it's not the same.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I know you're a BJJ. What's your belt now with the jiu-jitsu?
A purple belt now.
Purple.
So
Congratulations.
thank you, sir. Yeah,
That's
I got my
pretty
purple belt in
badass.
February. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah,
How
yeah.
long did
So
it take you?
that been training since 2017.
Oh, bro, that's
So
pretty good.
pre-COVID. Yeah, yeah. So I don't know. There's some black belt is like a 10-year road minimum. So, but I obviously those are your goals when you first start training, and then you quickly are reminded that like, oh shit, this is not. There's a reason not everyone has a black belt,
Mm-hmm.
and there's
Yeah.
a reason there's not everyone's even a blue belt.
Yeah.
So, but
I
yeah,
heard there's like some people could like stay at like purple belt for like 4 years before they can get
dude,
to
I
the
know
next
people.
one.
Yeah, I know people that have been a purple belt for 6 or 7 years, and then COVID made it even worse. You
How
know,
what make this what do they decide what make them decide that like
that's
okay
the thing
you
about
go up.
jujitsu. Yeah, because like if you not traditional martial art, I wouldn't consider them traditional, but like let's say karate and taekwondo,
Mm,
there's a belt system, there's a time to it, there is some of them have tests that you have to pass, and it's all dependent on who the resident black belt of that association is. In jiu-jitsu, it's like it's such a free form thing, and it's like you have to develop a relationship with your coach or with what some people call them professors in jiu-jitsu. You have to develop that relationship with them, and they're the ones that really know your game, and they're the ones that give you your rank. So that's why if you hear people talk about jiu-jitsu and their ranks, they'll say, oh yeah, I'm a Henzo Gracie black belt, or I'm a Half Gracie black belt, or whoever you are, John Danaher black belt. I got my black belt from this guy. The game I know is from this guy, and it provides a sense of legitimacy, knowing that I worked at least 10 years for this. There's outliers like in the UFC, like I'm sure you've heard of like BJ Penn, like, oh
yeah.
yeah, BJ Penn got his black belt in 4 years. That doesn't happen. Like that does not happen. There's no way. The
You think there's politics?
there definitely is a sense of politics in it too. People ranking up. It it's a business.
Yeah, I guess so.
So
Because I mean, like, if I could choke you, I know how to weigh. Why am I
yeah.
not black belt? You know?
Yeah, I agree. That's how I saw it too. But there's a lot more to it than just like getting that one submission within a 5-minute round. Are you able like there's a lot more things that I think go into molding what a black belt is. Is that person going to come back and train tomorrow? I don't think so. Or are you going to consistently be coming and training 4 or 5 times a week, sometimes even twice a day if you have the time?
Twice a day.
Yeah. So depending on what my schedule is, I will try to get in there twice a day. And I wouldn't even disrespect people that say that that they're doing this professionally. I'm a hobbyist compared to those people. There are people that literally train 2 to 3 times a day, and like that's their life. For me, I consider it a big part of my life, but I'm not by any means a professional fighter or professional martial artist. Like it's become a part of my identity, but in the same event, there are people that like they are jujitsu fighters. Those people are like that's who they are. Like that's their true identity. They're professionals. They teach. They have a business around it. They own their school. They own the gym. You know that's how they make their money.
Did you try to learn other martial arts before?
So I did when I was a kid. I did like Shotokan karate. I was like maybe 8 or 11, and then it just faded because it was like a karate school that started in the basement of a Lutheran church, right? It was
Hmm.
like and there's so many stories like that. Like even jujitsu schools, some of them start like that. But I just like I found other hobbies. I ended up playing guitar, playing piano. And like I was fortunate. My parents kind of entertained all the requests that I had, all the interests that I had, and
Lucky guy.
they were like, "Yeah, not everyone's so fortunate." But yeah, I stepped away from martial arts for a long time, and then after college, I was like, "Yeah, there's a school that just opened up. There's a Henzo Gracie school that just opened up in the neighborhood," and I was like, "That would be kind of cool to learn how to, do it, even if it's just for 6 months."
Mhm.
And fast forward 6 years later, I'm like, "Oh shit, I'm still here," like. And now
That's
it's like
amazing.
trying to train every night or whenever I get the time, really. If
That's
work or
beautiful.
projects don't get in the way, then
Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, it's
for
been a
sure.
good opportunity to flex a lot of other skills too. Like I go there and I try to practice my photography sometimes. A lot of the
Mm,
video making skills that I get are, I would attribute it to like being in the room and turning the camera on.
hmm
Like you don't, there's not a lot of people have that opportunity, and I'm fortunate that they even let me do that.
hmm Are there a
Yeah.
lot of
So,
Filipinos that's practicing jiu-jitsu there?
there's a couple. So it's a big like Asian community. I'd say anytime you step on the mat, probably half the people on the mat are Asian. But
Okay.
I probably like four or five consistent, Filipino people who are training.
Hmm. Did you grow up around a Filipino community, or were you those type of Filipinos that like in one town and you're the only Filipino there?
So I grew up in Queens. There was when I went to Catholic school,
Mm.
but my parents are super Filipino. They were like, "Oh, you need to go to Catholic school. You need to go to school that has a uniform, all this stuff, like typical Filipino first generation, right?" So the school I went to, there was in my class there was two other Filipino boys.
Mhm.
It was just three Filipino kids in the class, and they all mistook us for each other.
Well, you
Yeah,
guys all look alike, right?
yeah, we're all like three chubby Filipino kids in first grade, and we're all wearing uniforms. They're calling me the other kid's name, the other kid they're calling my name, and I'm just
Mm.
like, oh, man. And then like as a kid, that's messing with your identity, right? So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I grew up I mean, it's very ethnically diverse, but for the most part, it's all Irish, Italian, typical Catholic. Yeah, I say typical because if you're from Queens, especially where I'm from, everybody's either Irish or Italian, and then you have the
Mm.
occasional Puerto Rican type of Latino or Asian, Chinese, and there's a lot of Haitian people too that I went to school with. So, but yeah, it was very diverse in a sense, but it was like I think the popular kids were Irish Italian kids.
Because they're white?
They're white, yeah, they were white. So everything that I was doing, I was trying to emulate them. Like I identified
Mm.
as like one of the kids from this school, and like anything that was like Filipino, like I was like almost ashamed of. I was like, I don't want to take that to school. I want Lunchables for lunch. Like I don't want to take chicken adobo with rice. Like, mom, you can stop. Like you can chill and like not have to make me lunch every day. You just like buy this shit. And I'm like, and I'm thinking now, I'm like, damn, that took years off of my life eating that shit. Like I could have been eating good from literally from first grade up until high school, and I chose to like put that stuff in my body at the time,
That's why
just
you were
because other kids
chubby.
were doing it. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Well, you know how it is. They tell you like, don't leave a grain of rice on your plate. It's just like never ending. Like they grew up poor, so
Mm.
they're gonna try and take advantage. Like I'm talking about them as my parents. My parents are gonna try and, you know, put me in the best situation and put me in a situation that they didn't have. So it went all the way down to the food. Like you can't waste anything because they didn't grow up with it.
Yeah.
That was there.
When was the moment in your life that you realized that, oh, I am Filipino and I'm proud to be a Filipino?
I think it was like maybe like sixth grade. So our school had like this. They called it the International Festival, and it was like um uh, a way, or it was like a weekend thing that they had everyone showcase their heritage and their ethnicities. So like there not that there was a big Filipino community at the school, but it's a Catholic school. There's going to be Filipino people there, and they don't the Filipino people in New York City at the time, they didn't have their whole families here. It was like, you know for my mom, it was my none of my father's siblings are in America. My mom is like one of nine kids, and only her brother was here, and he lived in Connecticut at the time. He still lives in Connecticut, has a family there, but you know we're so far apart. New York City to Connecticut is at least an hour away, so we don't see them all the time. It was like the Filipino people I associated with were the ones I went to school with. Like those were the people that my mom naturally gravitated to because they spoke the same language. I mean, obviously it wasn't Ilongo or Visaya, but they still spoke Tagalog, and it was like the most common, easy thing for them to understand. Like they're speaking broken English all the time. It's like I'm like, Mom, that's not how you say it. Dad, that's not how you say it. Like, imagine your 8-year-old kid is like correcting you and telling you what to do. You came to this country that's 4,000 miles away on your own. No one else is here. Like, you're gonna tell me how things work out here, man? Like, you, it's just but yeah. I think it was sixth grade that I started to realize that what the actual um like what my actual ethnicity and like what my upbringing was and like what the lineage of my family was, because I saw all the things at the international festival, and I started to notice like we are different from the Irish Italian families that are here, but in a way it's like you know there's certain foods and desserts that everyone that is not Filipino is gravitating towards, and they're like, oh, this shit's actually kind of good, like they like leche flan, they like ubi cakes, like stuff like that. It's like
Lumpia.
lumpia is the big one, yeah. Like,
Hmm.
oh, your mom making those fucking egg rolls again? I'm like, yeah, she's making them. All right, I'm coming over. It's like those are things that um they're not. I wouldn't say they're novelty, but it's like those are the things that people who aren't Filipino think about when you tell them you're Filipino.
Yeah, food. It's the
Yeah,
it's the key to their heart. You
yeah,
know.
I
But
think that. Yeah.
it's I just don't like those people that just ask for adobo because we have more shit.
Oh yeah, I know. I don't even consider adobo to be Filipino food at this point. I mean,
Yeah.
yes, it is, but there's definitely more out there.
Oh, definitely. Like we said, lumpia, which I refuse to call Shanghai roll or egg roll. By the way, I call it lumpia. If somebody
Yeah,
say, "Oh, what is that? Shanghai roll?" No, it's lumpia. It's
I've
different.
never even heard Shanghai roll.
Yeah, dude, that's what we call it here, Shanghai in Canada, Shanghai roll. I'm like, no, dude, it's lumpia. It's different. It's better. It's delicious.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
But with your relationship with your parents, having issues speaking English and whatnot, did that put pressure on you to translate for them or communicate with them?
I mean, yeah. I mean, to this day, it's still like that. They've been in this country. My mom came here in '86. So what is that? That's over 30 years ago. 34? I don't even know. 37 years ago.
I let's do
That's
let's drop the math because I'm stupid with math. You're the engineer, okay?
Yeah. Well, that's what they make calculators for. But like they've been here for that amount of time. They've obviously immersed themselves in the culture, but there's
Mm.
still things there's still words that they don't understand, or people talk too fast, or the way that they deliver information is just like only the people here can really understand that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of times that I find myself being the mediator between them,
Mm.
primarily at restaurants, right? When they try to order food, they're like, oh, like how many people does that serve? How many pieces does it come with?
Mm.
Like
Mhm.
it could be something like that. And they're like, we don't count the amount of pieces that comes with. Like, that's just what it is. And my parents have a hard time understanding that sometimes, but
Okay.
it's like, yeah, I definitely
Or
find myself
jokes. Jokes
jokes.
are the
Yeah.
worst.
Yeah. Or when they're trying to joke with people that don't find it funny, because Filipinos are always like laughing and smiling,
Yeah,
even
yeah.
though things aren't funny, right? Or things
Mm.
aren't, or if they're in an uncomfortable situation, they'll just smile because that's like their default setting. I like to say like a
Mm.
Filipino person's default setting is just them smiling. So like when
Yeah.
they're in an awkward situation, they're like, uh, and then the person that they're interacting with just like blows up at them. Like, why are you smiling? Like, this isn't funny. I'm like, I'm sorry, dude. I'm really trying to be upset, but I can't not be smiling. Like, that's
This
just
is
how
we
I am.
are,
Yeah,
you
yeah. And a
know.
lot of people have a hard time understanding that. Even me, like when I get into an awkward situation, I'm kind of laughing about it. Even though subconsciously it's really not funny. But I think it's just from seeing my parents be in awkward situations like that. And like the only thing that they really can, I've never seen them like grimace or being like uncomfortable. Like it shows on their face that they're not smiling.
Yeah. I mean, it's very used word, but like that's one thing I proud of Filipinos. We're very resilient, you know.
Yeah.
Like it could be like the typhoon just passed by and all the houses are blown away and they're just laughing. Half of their
Yeah.
bodies in the dirty water and they're just laughing.
Yeah, I know.
And
It's
we're like,
crazy.
why are you laughing? It's
Yeah,
but
people dying.
we do. It just my mom always says like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah, be miserable. You're gonna be a miserable fuck. I don't know.
Exactly, you
That's
know?
that's the you have two choices, you know. And then I feel like, but what I'm saying is, I feel like for Filipinos, it's not really a choice. They're just default. They're defaulted to that position.
Yeah, it's just like
They're just, you know, to
yeah,
try and have a straight face is hard. They can't.
yeah, like sometimes when I come over to my mom's and we start talking about, you know, gossip from the back home, and they're like, oh, they drink every night. I'm like, they drink gin, like for 20 pesos gin, which is like what, like 50 cents or something like that.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah,
they're happy,
yeah,
you know,
yeah,
and we have like Jack Daniels and whatnot over here, and we're like, you know, it just like, what is going on? Did we mess up by moving here, or what is going on?
yeah. There's definitely some moments that I feel like my parents think that too. But you know, there was this is you know this the Western world was like a a chance at opportunity for them. So you
But
know,
growing up, you know, your mom and your dad are, of course, like you said, Filipinos to the bone, and you're an American boy.
yeah.
How was your relationship with him?
It was good. I mean, at times, like you know, trying to find your identity as an American kid while you still have like this crazy Filipino or international influence is hard because like I don't know if you can tell I don't have an accent, right? Like I don't even have a New York accent. I feel like my accent changes depending on who the audience I talk to is,
Same.
you know. So it's it's weird. We had a good relationship. I uh, I think we understand each other on a different level, you know, because they speak to me in Tagalog or Bisaya, and I just respond in pure English. Not even a single word of Tagalog gets rebutted.
But you
It's
understand
weird.
him.
Yeah, 100%. Like I'll hear them have conversations with their friends, and then I'll like butt in and like I'll speak in English, and they'll be like, "You understood that? Like you can understand what I'm saying?" I'm like, "Hell yeah, I know everything that you're saying. Like you got to be careful when you talk around me, you know."
For sure.
So
Why don't you speak it?
I guess because I just have never been in a position to that I've had to. Anytime that someone speaks Tagalog to me, I respond in English, and it's like it cuts it off. Like I don't have there's no necessity for me to respond in Tagalog. If I can communicate effectively by speaking English back, then
Yeah,
it's like
I see.
there's no not that I don't have the desire to, but it's like I don't need to, you know.
Because you understand
Like,
him anyway.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Have you
But
ever
it's
visit?
oh yeah, I've been there maybe 5 or 6 times.
Okay.
Last time was in 2016. So I mean, it's kind of a long time now. But um, yeah, even when I go there, I don't speak Tagalog. Everyone there understands English. They all watch American television. They all watch YouTube. They're literally watching people like they're watching American people vlog on YouTube, and it's like the people that are vlogging they don't speak Tagalog. They're speaking pure English, pure American English, not even just like English. You know,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have
yeah.
their New York accent or whatever it is, and they can understand them 100%. So like if you hear me and my cousins have a conversation, it's like they're speaking to me in Olongo or Visaya, and I'm just responding in English, and like they I hear them always bring up this like figurative term like, oh, your nose is gonna bleed because yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know the actual
It's
word.
hard to translate, but it's the idea is so hard that your brain will hurt and your nose it will bleed and it will come out through your nose.
Yeah, was it like dugong ilongmo or something?
Dudugo ang ilong mo.
Oh yeah, yeah.
It's a
That's
silly thing, but
yeah, I
I don't
know, but
know.
that's yeah, like I just remember that the last time I went there, I was talking like this, like having a conversation like that with them like this, and they're like, "Oh, like talking to my cousins." So my mom is like, "Oh, is your nose bleeding yet?" Like, because I'm like I'm speaking at my normal rate, right? So for them to understand that could be difficult, but they get it, you know.
Yeah, they
I think
understand.
it's definitely bad for like the next generation, like my kids.
Hmm.
If and when I do have children, like they're not going to speak a lick of Tagalog. I have a
Yeah.
brother. He's a year younger than me. He doesn't understand it at all.
Wow.
He's only 1 year younger. Yeah,
That's
which is
crazy.
nuts. Yeah.
Listen, my kids, they don't speak a word of it. My wife is Italian Irish,
Mm.
and I try to speak to them. They just look at me like I'm stupid, you know.
Yeah, yeah.
But
But you got to keep pounding. You got to keep hammering that in there.
I'm
That's what my
trying.
parents did. My parents like they just kept hammering it. Literally,
Hmm.
any chance that they would get, they would speak to me in Tagalog, and I was curious, so I would always ask like, "What does this mean? What does that mean?"
Hmm.
You know, they for a couple years actually, my grandparents lived with us, and I think that's really what set it in stone
Yeah, yeah.
because they couldn't speak any English, so they would always speak to me in Tagalog. They understood what I was saying,
Hmm.
but you know, it was kind of like that whole translation, like weird translation thing, you know,
Yeah.
like it's funny because it's at a point where people speak to me in Tagalog and I don't have to translate it. Like I know what
Hmm.
there's like that conversion that happens in your brain. I don't know what it is, but I don't even when they speak to me, I don't have to convert it into English.
It's just automatic.
Yeah, I already know what they're talking about.
Yeah, it's a skill.
But it's weird because I didn't do anything to develop the skill.
Yes, you
I
did. You're
didn't.
listening to your parents.
Yeah, I guess they're the ones doing the talking though. You know, I'm not.
Yeah.
I didn't go to. There's no Filipino school. There's no. I didn't. There's no like formal training that I had. I'm
Mhm.
sure if I had to type it and text it out, or if people put a Facebook post,
Mm.
I understand exactly what they're saying,
You
and
can
it's not
read.
always. Yeah, yeah. It's so
What the?
weird. It's so weird. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Is
crazy.
I don't have to, but I can't speak it. I'm sure if there was a necessity for me to do so, I could.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's our
yeah,
tongue is a muscle, so you just need to you need to train it. You have the brain part already, so you just
yeah,
need to practice your tongue. But like you
yeah.
said,
So
why am I gonna speak Tagalog? There's no point.
just to keep it alive.
Yeah, I guess
That's
so.
just, that's the main motivator, I think, at this point. I mean, I'm 30 years old now, and I'm thinking about this. So, but it's never too late to develop a skill. I
Of
think,
course. I
but
do love practicing it still, like because I guess at home I don't speak it at almost zero. When I go to my parents, I try to speak in English, no, in Tagalog as much, but I prefer when it's a party that it
oh
pushes
yeah,
me
yeah,
more to speak in
yeah, yeah,
Tagalog.
yeah, because you have to be social and like you have to like crack jokes and like
Yeah,
have like Filipino humor that doesn't always translate well to English, right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's
yeah,
cool. It's cool.
yeah. That's fun stuff. Plus, I just love speaking it.
Yeah.
I enjoy it.
I don't know.
Also,
I don't know why I don't speak it. I think part of me is there's uh, a sense of almost like embarrassment
it's always like
that that
it's based
that
on
that
confidence.
yeah, like there's no like I don't have the confidence to speak it, so I don't feel like uh, you know
You don't
that I
do.
really have the guts to fucking say what it is I need to say. It's easy for me to respond in English, like have pure confidence responding in English, knowing that I
Hmm.
know what they're saying. But for me to respond in Tagalog, it's just like I'm melting. You know, I can't, I literally can't respond. I've no comeback for it. It's
No,
just like
I no for
I
sure.
have to,
It's based on confidence. It's like you're gonna you're gonna get ridiculed,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
And
I
you know
think that's
Filipinos
probably
and fucking busting your
yeah,
balls. We're like
yeah,
Hall
yeah,
of
yeah,
Famers.
yeah. I know.
It's one of the toxic trait that we have that I don't mind leaving because I love it.
Yeah, I know, but it's when you start talking to other people of other cultures that it becomes an issue. They're just like,
Definitely,
dude, you need to chill.
definitely. Earlier you mentioned this that your photography. I love your photography, by the way. When you need to put
Thanks, man.
more, bro. Like there's like five of them. We need more.
Yeah, I know. Well, I'm trying to put the select things up there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I do understand that I need to put myself out there a little more,
Mm-hmm.
but it's part of, I think, my personal development. I'm still trying to focus on work at the same time, trying to focus on things that I still consider to be a hobby to me. You know,
Mm.
like those things, they do bring in some money sometimes, but it's nothing compared to my day job, or really nothing that really can sustain me on a permanent level.
Yeah, definitely. It's passion, right?
Yeah.
How did you get into photography?
Um, my parents, they always had cameras in the house, like
Mm.
whether it was like a 35 millimeter, like, point and shoot camera. That was like the first one that they had.
Mm-hmm.
And then, um, they bought like a DSLR, like when I was maybe freshman year of high school. And, yeah, it was like a Canon Rebel XT. And I was like, oh shit, this is a cool camera. This looks like a legit camera.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like looking back at it now, it's like, damn, that camera was so like elementary,
Mm. Yeah.
compared to the cameras today, 20 years down the line. I'm like, damn.
Mm.
But yeah, that was kind of the intro to it. And then, um, yeah, that was, they always had photo albums and stuff growing up too. Like
Mm.
they got everything developed. So I think that was like, that was what interested me in it. It was just like a way to preserve memories. Like I remember, I vividly remember going through them,
Mm.
like maybe once or twice a month, I would look at them, and like there wasn't really any thought into the pictures they were taking either. It was just like, I'm just gonna, this looks cool. I'll take a picture of this. Like I remember seeing a picture of my grandparents on a boat, with like the World Trade Center in the background. Like that was like
Wow.
one of the coolest pictures that I've seen. Like I don't even know where that photo is anymore. I'm sure I have a screenshot of it somewhere on my phone, but
Mm.
it was like, damn, like that's like a frozen moment in time that, you know,
Mm.
like the building doesn't exist anymore. It's just like, it's crazy. So,
Yeah.
and then from there, I think, you know, I started when my parents got that camera, I started bringing it out like with my friends. I would skate
Mm.
and I would take pictures of them, and like, we would just chill at the park, take pictures, and it developed into a situation where I just like liked taking photos, and it just, I would try and frame shots all the time.
Mm.
It never got to a point where I was like, oh, I could go to school for this. And even in school, we had to like make video projects and stuff, and I was always like, I like was always the guy editing the videos.
Mm. That's awesome.
So yeah, and I think that the videos were like an extension of photography, because it was
Mm.
like, it's all somewhat visually related, right?
Mm.
So
You're very
yeah,
creative. Where did in the family it come from?
I have no idea, to be
Mom and dad
honest.
are not creatives?
No, so my father was a seaman,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he was a sailor. He sailed for like 8 years. He comes from like a line of
Yep.
sailors. They're all maritime related people. And then my mom's a nurse, but she's also one of nine. So, and they're all like either business oriented, or they're nurses. So,
Mhm.
um, yeah, I don't really know. I think it might have been something that I ran into here,
Yeah.
you know, that I was able to find on my own, or something that influenced me outside of them.
Yeah, I would like to ask you because obviously you're very creative. However, creativity is helped by privilege sometimes. You
Yeah,
need money to be privileged because
yeah,
you can't
definitely.
create if you're hungry, right?
I mean, there are people that do.
Well, yeah, but that's a lot of sacrifices. Do you think if let's say you were born in the Philippines, do you think and your decent life, do you think you'll be a creative?
No, I really don't know what I would be.
Hmm.
I'd probably, just do whatever my dad told me. Literally, that's it. Like,
You're gonna be a
they,
seaman.
no, he was like, you should be a doctor. You should be a doctor or a nurse. You should be a nurse like your mom. I was like, hell no, dude. Like, there was
I'm
part of me
kind of
that
chunky over here, you know.
no, I did tell. I initially wanted to become like in the, I wanted to go to maritime school,
Hmm.
but there's a big maritime school here where I live, and he was like really doing his best to talk me off the ledge. Like he showed me all these videos of like high seas, like there's like 50 to 100 foot waves, right?
Hmm.
And it's like the ship will like bounce up and down and change elevation like that in the middle of the ocean. He's like, this is what I want you to see, and maybe you can think about twice about going to this academy,
Yeah.
and if you really want to do this. And then I was like, you know what, I kind of don't want to do that shit. So
I
I
don't
was
want to
like,
drown.
yeah. So I don't know, they talked me out of it, and
Hmm.
then yeah, but yeah, back to your question, it definitely stems from being privileged, I think,
Hmm.
because I grew up with other privileged kids too, but they weren't really that creative.
Hmm.
They 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 definitely weren't thinking about taking pictures or videography or you know I mean
Creating stuff.
music I think was the most common ground, but
Hmm.
that was like people learned instruments out of necessity because I asked them like, hey, like, you want to start a band? And they were like, you know what, I kind of do want to start a band. Like my best friend Jonathan that I grew up with, he didn't start playing guitar until like 2 years after I started playing guitar.
Mm.
And like he started playing guitar because I didn't have anyone to jam with. Yeah, like
You peer
it's
pressured him.
yeah, but we were like 10 years old, 13 years old, whatever.
Hmm. You mentioned videography. I see that you do some vlogs or short films.
Yeah.
When did that start and how did you get into that?
So I remember doing like a bunch of like video projects in high school,
Hmm.
but like that was like ground level. Like I wouldn't even consider that ground level stuff. Like I was using like Windows video editor. Like this was maybe like in 2009 or 2010.
Hmm.
Like I still had a Windows computer. It was so bad. But it was that I really didn't get into like that type of video editing till college.
Mm.
Like I went to engineering school. I was like in a chemical engineering program, and it was very like regimented almost. Like
Mm.
there was wasn't really room to like be creative or to take different classes that can expose you to other things that aren't engineering or business or math related, science
Hmm.
related. But I had some credits from high school that transferred over, and I ended up having one free elective that I could have taken in my last semester, and it
Mm.
was like um, digital video editing class, and I think that's really when it started. Like
Mm.
it was like I had like that's kind of where the whole privilege thing kind of falls into place. Like if I didn't go to school and if I didn't have these like video editing tools, I wouldn't realize that this was a thing that I liked
Hmm.
or it's something that I found myself good at.
Hmm.
So yeah, I think those were the keys to the car,
Hmm.
And I was like, damn, this looks fun. I wish I didn't wait till my last semester to do this, you know, because
Exactly. I was busy chasing girls.
no, I was busy in the library, dude. Our library was like a 24/7, this is where I'm like looking at the background. I'm like, this looks like my school.
Yes, sir. It is.
Holy shit. Yeah, the library. I was like, that looks like Manhattan College.
Yes, it is. I try to put a wallpaper in my back. It depends on what's important to the guest.
Yeah, I mean, Manhattan College is definitely yeah. So I didn't mention the school I went to was Manhattan College,
Hmm.
but yeah, it was a great place. Like this photo is bringing back a lot of memories. It wasn't even that long ago.
Yeah,
7 years ago I graduated, but yeah, definitely still very connected.
I see some of your works. They're more of like storytelling. Have you ever thought of creating something that will, I don't know, propagate Filipino culture or something that it shows, yeah, Filipino culture?
Um, Honestly, no, I haven't thought about it.
Hmm.
I mean, other than like maybe like traveling there and like really um making like some type of very detailed um like specific visual thing. That's really it. it would be hard for me. It's like I'm not creative in a sense where I write scripts for things, or I'm like the initiator of an idea. Like
Hmm.
I like to think of myself as like someone that enhances ideas that other people bring to me. Like,
Engineer.
yeah, exactly. It's hard to originate uh like, original ideas. It's tough. I think that for me personally, that's my challenge, is coming up with something that's creative from that standpoint. I think
Wow.
when I get into a team that like really tries to make something, that's where I feel like I fit in.
Wow. And you never tried to compose a song?
Yeah, I have like a lot of songs that I've written but a lot of songs I've written have been with other people, like in a band.
But you
It's
never
not,
did just by yourself.
no, I think it's, that's a whole different level of creativity to be the originator of someone. I think that's the thing with photography, is I'm not creating it. It's my perspective of how I view things, you
Yeah,
know?
I like that idea. Because I do write, well, whenever I feel like writing.
Yeah.
And I love collaborating, but I'm more of like the idea guy.
Yeah. It's hard. It's hard. I mean, for me personally, I think for other people, it does come very naturally to be a person that's original, and it's like to have like the skeleton, so to speak,
Hmm.
right? And then like everything else that's built around that, it's like I'll just keep layering and layering and layering and like try and get to a point where it's like,
Yeah.
my personal influences are there.
Yeah, I
But
see.
I think that to be the originator is like, that's a whole nother level that I personally haven't even tapped into yet.
Dude,
Maybe.
listen, it's not,
Yeah.
yeah, sometimes it's hard, but sometimes you'll be, I swear to God, sometimes sitting down thinking of nothing, and an idea will come in.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I have to write this. Or sometimes I dream of things.
Yeah.
Sometimes I dream of a short film.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm not in it like people that I don't know about. It's just I'm watching the film, so I just have to write it down what happened.
Yeah. See, I got to tap into your brain and we can develop something.
Oh, there's darkness in there. You don't want to go in there. But yeah, sure, offline, I would love to mention it to you. But yeah, I mean, that's very interesting because you're so creative and you make these beautiful films, the vlogs, the photography, songs, and but you don't do it just alone.
No, I don't. I never do.
Never has in your life that you're sitting down and a riff comes into you or a line
Yeah,
or
I
a
mean, it's a riff here and there, and then it's something that I bring to the table with everybody else, and then we're like, this is ours. This is not, it's not solely my thing.
hmm.
That's why whenever I have the opportunity to give credit to somebody else, like it's always there.
There's something about this. Like why? Like is it are you afraid that you think your idea is not good enough or
Maybe, yeah, probably the same way that sometimes I don't have the confidence to respond in Tagalog,
yeah.
for fear of
Because you have everything.
ridicule or something. I mean, I have the tools, right?
Yeah, exactly, dude. You're
Yeah,
like
yeah,
you
yeah,
complete. You got everything.
yeah. But I think I'm still, like I said, every 6 months, maybe even every other week, I feel like I'm kind of reinventing myself,
Hmm.
and I'm trying to pick up new skills. Like I feel like I'm still in a point where like I'm in uh like move collector mode. Like I'm still trying to develop skills that I feel like will make that ultimate thing the best possible thing it could be. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know what it is. That's definitely something I need to personally reflect on, I think.
Yeah. You need to get choked more, you know?
Yeah. I think that's
It's
the one thing that I do that is very original to me. And
yeah.
like I think that's why I still keep going back. I'm like, and that's where a lot of my creative energy is going right now for the past couple of years.
Mm.
Like I don't really play music as much, you know, but I'm definitely trying to train 4 to 5 times a week,
Mhm.
and balancing that with work and, doing other things. It's like, it's hard. There's not enough hours in a day.
No. Especially like your full-time job, that's the thing. It's very
Yeah.
difficult. it really fascinates me when you say that you can't create by yourself, because looking, just looking at your Instagram, like, yo, this guy is fire, man. Like with the videos, with the
Thanks, man. Thanks,
pictures,
bro.
and yet you mentioned that you can't create just solo by yourself. You
I
ever tried though?
I don't think I've ever actually tried. Like put put some generous effort into it. And I think somewhere down the line I'm ultimately gonna have to.
Yeah.
But there's just so much stuff coming down the pipe. I'm always trying to help other people out. They have they come to me with projects and stuff. And I think the only things that I really do for myself are jujitsu and photography. And those are the things like that those are like perspective things. Those aren't even things that you can create something out of thin air, like a song or a script or something. And
Dude,
that's what draws it to me. That's why I'm drawn to it. It's like it's easy for me.
yeah.
Not,
I see what you're saying. Like, but listen, you gotta credit yourself with photography, because I trust me. I have asked just this weekend. Okay, I visited the statue of GSP, actually, George Saint Pierre,
nice.
and I pretended like I'm going face to face with him. Right. So I told my friend,
Yeah.
I said, "Bro, I'm gonna take a picture of you. I want you to take this exact angle of the picture. Okay." So I took a picture. It's like a half body kind of thing.
Yeah, yeah.
I took a picture. I said, "Bro, this is what it looks like. I want exactly like this, right?" This mother, you know what? Took a whole body picture. I'm like, "Yo, come on, man! What are you retarded?" I was so dude. It was like from half to full. Like,
Yeah.
what part you did not understand? Like, I
He's
just
like, oh,
don't
you
care.
can crop it. You can crop it, bro. It's all good.
I was like, like, and then you know how people sometimes they take picture of, like, for some reason they take so much, like, it's either the top or the bottom. It's never in the
Yeah, yeah,
middle.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there's creativity there, and then that's you. You put in your thing, your essence in your photography.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. I mean, that's what I'm saying. It's like it's a skill. You're developing a skill. The more reps you put in, the more times you click the button, the more times you change the settings, like of that, of the exposure, aperture, and shutter speed triangle. Like you're gonna get good at it the more reps you put in.
Yeah.
And I think that's what I find appealing to myself personally. I'm like, oh wow, this above all, like this cool thing exists, or this cool moment exists. Like I want to be able to like freeze frame it from my point of view. And that's why that's like it's hard for people to, it's kind of like a point of view thing, like I'm not creating something, I'm just kind of admiring it.
Yeah. I see your point though, that it's easy to take a picture. You don't have to create from zero.
Yeah, the inspiration's there. You just have to like get a good angle, or get good lighting or something,
Yeah.
something that kind of like almost romanticizes the moment. Like how can you best do that? It's like, this is how I see it. I don't know if everyone else sees it like that.
But you're
Try
very
and find something.
collaborative, right?
Definitely, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Because the short film that you did with Jet and Jai is, I love
Oh
it,
yeah,
bro. Great job.
thanks, bro. Yeah, we got a couple more episodes coming out, but
How long did it take you to shoot one episode, let's say?
like a day. Yeah, but like even that, it's like there's a lot of logistical planning that goes in. There's their script and trying to break it down into a way that we can like efficiently film everything. How do you do that? It's like, I would imagine that on a higher, more crazy budget thing, like they have people that do those things. But for
Yeah.
us, it was like we were all doing it, So like, it was a cool project. Everyone is very collaborative too. Like that was their script. They wrote it, and I just tried to enhance it, tried to like incorporate my point of view in it. It wasn't my original idea. So
But you made it your own.
yeah, definitely with the tools I have.
Yeah, as always. You check. You did the settings. You did the movement. You did the angle.
Yeah.
It's still like, I love that I'm talking to you and you're like, it's not really my idea and I cannot create an original idea, but you're so creative.
Yeah. It is a weird thing. It's a weird thing. I don't know why. Like I said, I don't think I've actually put in like a good effort to do so.
Mm-hmm.
But
Do you
one of these
self-reflect?
days I will. Yeah, every day.
Hmm.
Every day. You got to. Especially I have so many things going on. Within this realm of my life, and then like at work as an engineer, it's like, you know, I'm working on like pipeline construction projects every day. I'm in the field. Yeah. And then to couple that with like being in Brooklyn and being in the city is like, there are people that only do that. So to try and like, be the same person and maintain that same personality and like sense of creativity with also being structured at the same time, I think that's where I feel like I'm good at.
You
That's
like
why
you like being in the middle.
yeah, I like being like an enhancer. That's literally it. I don't know how else to explain my role when it comes to anything else.
Most definitely. Listen, man, I think we're there. But before we close out, one more question. Yeah?
Sure.
What lesson has your work life taught you?
My personal work life. I think that there's always room for self-improvement. Like I'm maybe 7 or 8 years into my engineering career now. And it's like, I'm noticing that there's always something that I can be working on, whether it be engineering related or, my personal life. It's really all the same.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I get better at it, if I'm getting better at jiu-jitsu, the mindset that I'm carrying over into jiu-jitsu into my work life, it's all the same. Same thing with trying to just get better and develop more skills within like photography or videography. I'm still at the point where I think I'm acquiring skills and developing skills, and I don't know if that's ever going to stop. So, but yeah, if anything, if I've learned anything from work, it's like you got to keep acquiring skills. You've got to keep getting better. Otherwise, you're just going to be stagnant and be the same person that you were 6 months ago.
Excellent. Excellent. Again, Ray, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it.
For sure, man. Thanks for having me.
Have a good evening.
You too, man.
Bye.
Later.
Thank you again, Ray, for coming on the podcast. I really do appreciate it. Thank you, listeners, for listening. This is Aaron Deliosa for An Immigrant's Life. I'll see you guys later.